Hello listeners, this is 107.8 Puduvai Vani, the community radio station of Puducherry University. This program is Just Relax. Stress and tension is an universal disease in today's world. If we see, we won't find anyone without stress. This is one of the most ridiculous diseases in today's world, and managing this stress is a huge task. It's not so easy to do this, but Dr. Vivek Sharma is here with us with some beautiful ideas and tips to manage the stress. Let's listen to him.
Good afternoon, friends. In the last program, we discussed about the universal law that to become a successful person, it is important to realize that purpose of life is purposeful life. Then we discussed the importance of attitude, that we have to become more than what we are today, then only we should go for the success feeling. Then we also discussed a few laws like the law of cause and effect, that we have to assume our responsibilities in the life. We should not blame any person, anything in this world if we want to go further in the life. And then we excuse ourselves. And the last thing that we discussed in the last program was that we have to remain always focused in the life, always navigated in the life, looking for positives in all the life, and staying always away from the negative people and avoiding their company. If we do so, it will be possible to dig deep into ourselves the gold that is hidden within us, and also we can extract gold from others. We can make other people also to perform to their best rather than looking only for their negativities. So in today's program, we are going to talk about an extremely important third step, that is to develop the habit of self-discipline. Coming to the third step, that is develop the habit of self-discipline. In this world, nobody has gone anywhere if the person is not self-disciplined. Cobb Mayer was a famous motivator, and he had collected more than 1,000 principles for becoming successful in life. When asked which out of these 1,000 principles he thought was most important, he replied, it has to be developing the habit of self-discipline, without which knowledge of all other principles is a waste. What is the use of knowing everything when we cannot apply it in our life? So it is important to know that we have to apply the knowledge, and it can occur only when we are disciplined in ourselves. Your ability to make yourself do what you should do, when you should do it, whether you like to do it or not, is the key to success in life. I repeat, your ability to make yourself do what you should do, when you should do it, whether you like to do it or not, is the key to success in life. There are many situations where successful personalities, even they don't want to do anything, but they have self-disciplined, they have disciplined themselves in such a manner that they can do it, whether they like it or not. Whereas the unsuccessful people, they don't do it. Now, the Napoleon Hill, the author of Think and Grow Rich, one of the international bestseller books, he writes whole of the book, and then at the end he writes, success is tons of self-discipline. So if we don't have self-discipline, let us not dream anything bigger. We will definitely not reach anywhere. Now, what is self-discipline? There are thousands and thousands of definitions available on internet everywhere. I like this definition. The self-discipline actually means the ability to delay gratifications in short term so that long-term objectives can be achieved is well developed in successful people. Successful people, or the people who are having developed personality, they are able to delay the gratifications. If you give them food, then they will not take the soft drinks and cold drinks. They will take a little bit only after they have finished the food. So they are having the ability to delay gratifications in the short term, and their long-term objective goals, whatever they have decided, it can be achieved. Only then we can sacrifice today, and we can save more money. We can get up early in the morning when all others are in deep slumber, put in long hours of efforts, and continue putting long hours of efforts and we don't immediately need the gratification. We don't go on the weighing machine every day and say how much we have lost the weight and then ultimately get disappointed. So we get up early in the morning when all others are in deep slumber, put in long hours of efforts, and overall they have developed the ability to distribute or to give love and affection for all others, including children, which can be passed through generations to others. This makes our life meaningful. It's not that payoff of self-discipline and our efforts will occur only in future, as people think like that. Bible says you are not punished for the sin but by them. Whenever we do exercises, we feel good because the happy hormones, which are called as the endorphins, are released in the brain, which give us the effect of happiness and calmness in mind. Similarly, whenever we exercise good discipline, self-discipline, it makes us happy in that moment. Very beautiful and powerful statement. Whenever we execute a choice of wisdom, we like ourselves more and more. We are immediately harmed or rewarded for the things done. We feel contented. We start respecting ourselves more and more. The more we like ourselves on minute-to-minute basis, the more we become likeable, the more is our output. When we do what we should do, even among mindless temptations and choices, we add value to ourselves. And this improves our self-esteem. This improvement in self-esteem is very, very much necessary for bringing up a positive attitude. Improved self-image improves the performance of the person. There is a saying, the person you see in the mind's eye is the person you are on outside. Exert yourself to do what you intend to do. Better attitude will give better reactions all the time from inside and from the external world. Rich DeVos, the owner of Amway company, used to go from house to house to do prospecting. So many people used to ask him, do you like going to the people and seeing that they shut doors on your face? He replied, there is a lot of things you do not like to do. Only by doing things you do not want to do, you can create opportunities to do what you want to do. Today, Amway empire is worth nearly $6 billion. Now, self-discipline is a habit. The research says anything repeated over a period of 21 days becomes our habit. We should be ready to develop successful habits. So any person who is interested in becoming more positive or wants to correct his attitude, simply take up all the positive habits, repeat them for next 21 days with full rigor, with full enthusiasm, and that becomes our new comfort zone. So develop this new comfort zone which is bigger than our earlier comfort zone. Famous German saying is, everything is hard before it is easy. Everything is hard before it is easy. If we want to develop any new habit, repeat the act with full heart for next 21 days, or to make it simpler, 1 month, and it gets locked in the foundation. Now I am going to share with you 9 simple rules or techniques which will help you to develop positive personality to beat stress. All rules are interdependent on each other, and every exercise of discipline in one area will strengthen other areas. It is just like any physical exercise which improves whole body, be it heart, muscles, bones, mind, etc. If you practice these rules or techniques for next 21 days with full interest and enthusiasm, surely you will be benefited. Rule number 1 is we have to develop clear thinking instead of having the fuzzy thinking. It is a common thing to understand. The higher the goal, the better is the result of life. Let us take an example. Suppose you are preparing with your family and you are going with your whole family for a holiday trip. To say you are going to your dream place, and you have already booked the hotel rooms also, you have packed all the clothes, and you have done the necessary things, and you have taken camera, etc., etc. Now you are very excited to reach over there, and you are anticipating that you will be having wonderful and exciting moments over there, which will help you to recharge, to refresh yourself, and boost you and allow you to bond better with other family members. Now you have been waiting for these moments for years and planned a lot and worked harder to get this free time in your life. Now you move out of your house and you find a bus is waiting over there, an AC bus, but it does not have any route number written on it. It's a very comfortable bus. It's a beautiful looking bus. Now, are you going to board the bus and sit in it with your whole family? And you assume that since this bus is waiting at your doorsteps, it must be the one which will carry to your destination? Or simply you will board the bus with your whole family because it looks good and you feel at least the journey will be comfortable. I have got one bus, let me go into it. And you will keep happily sitting inside it, and you will decide only when the bus stops somewhere in the middle. No, we never go for any journey like this. We first always make sure about everything, and then only we embark on any journey, whether it is short, whether it is few minutes, or whether it is long for hours or days. Now let us examine our life. Are we really interested in finding out the goal of our life? And have we decided the ways and means of reaching over there? If not, let us start preparing ourselves and set our life meaningful. These types of goals can be different for each and every individual. It is a common saying, nobody would like to go on a rudderless boat to cross the ocean. Now, most of the stress builds up daily because many of us have not yet taken time to sit down and find out the real goals of our life. We are simply responding to the situations as they come to us, and like a rocking horse, we keep moving but do not reach anywhere. Now this gives us frustration, desperation, and all set of negative feelings. So it is very important now to contemplate your purpose of life. Clear thinking versus fuzzy thinking separates successful personalities from ordinary people. It is the quality of thinking which is going to determine the results of our actions. So how to look for this goal or how to have this clear thinking? There are few steps in it. First step is find the time for meditation and contemplation in solitude. It is very common for many of us to find restless people who find it difficult to even sit for a minute without doing anything. They constantly have the urge to do something, whether it is meaningful or not. That is not their case. They will simply keep moving around, they will simply keep doing something, pick up something, keep it back, then again pick up, and something like that. They will be talking on phone, they will be doing SMSing, texting all the time. They will sit for hours in front of TV, in the front of internet. They will gossip, and always you will find that their ears are plugged with headphones. They are listening to something all the time. Now today this new problem has arisen out of these multitasking habits, especially in younger population, that they cannot sit and focus on one thing at a time. This is called as attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. See, it is affecting not only children but everyone. If there is no sensory input, we develop an unknown stress and anxiety which manifests in different ways like irritation, self-depreciating habits development, and so on. Now for thousands of years, people have found that it is extremely necessary to find long, unbroken chunks of time for contemplation, for looking inside ourselves and really knowing what we want. Solitude has been discovered and rediscovered as one of the most important tools to re-energize ourselves in the history of mankind. For example, let us see, if we have a bucket water which is mixed with silt, with mud, it is not possible to see through it. But if we simply allow the water to stand undisturbed for some time, what happens? The silt settles down and we can see through the water. Similarly, we can see through any situation, problem, or challenge of life if we allow just it to stand over there. Just like that mud-filled water, we are also leading our lives on day-to-day basis in this mixture of emotions, the compulsion or the need to constantly work for daily activities. This prevents us from going deep into ourselves, inside ourselves, and have a clear look at the problem. So we have to practice solitude. Now, according to Dr. Deepak Chopra, the medical research shows that every person in a day thinks approximately 50 to 60,000 thoughts, and out of which 90% thoughts are usually negative in nature and they are repetitive in nature. That means what is happening today, what I am thinking must be linked something to what I thought yesterday and day before. So these are repetitive in nature, these are negative in nature. And from where we gather this negative information? This is from the environment, from our own self-evaluation and our own attitudes and reactions to various situations. So as stated, we are capable of changing everything about ourselves because in our conscious mind, we can keep only one thought at a time. So what it means is that out of these 50 to 60,000 thoughts, most of them are negative in nature. And on daily basis, we think that we do not have any control over our thinking and we feel helpless which thoughts come to our consciousness. But if we become observant, if we go into solitude and then we become observant and start sitting for some time in solitude with eyes closed and simply start observing the thoughts as an observer only, we know what is coming to our mind. When we know what is coming to our mind, we can apply our willpower and to replace every negative thought with a positive thought. So we can selectively choose to pay attention to the positive emotions, positive thoughts, and root out the negative thoughts by using various meditative techniques. Many studies done including MIT in US and others, they say just like the physical calisthenics improves the body, these mental calisthenics, they are capable of improving our self. So many, in fact, this meditation has been included as one of the tools in many of the hospitals, in many of the stress-related personalities like people who are serving in police or working in corporates, especially the IT sector and all that things. So Saint Sri Ramchandra from Shahjahanpur says, if any negative thought comes to the mind, the only way to remove it is simply by replacing it with good thought. Because we can hold only one thought at a time in the mind. And if we practice keeping only this one positive thought for longer periods of time in our conscious mind, surely it is going to affect our attitude. It is going to make ourselves more and more in control of ourselves and also our control over the mind. In solitude, how do we do? When we get into the mood of meditation and contemplation, we leave the suggestion in a subtle way to our heart. Now, heart is something which is esoterically considered as a symbol of emotions, our soul, that it is the seat of divinity, etc., etc. We leave this suggestion in a subtle way to our heart. Now, this travels through our conscious mind and reaches to our subconsciousness. Although consciously, we can focus only on one thought at a time, but the power of subconscious mind is tremendous and it is 1,000 times more than that of the conscious mind. Now it is a common thing. It works on 1,000 things at a time. We don't need to control consciously our heart rate, our body temperature, our blood pressure, everything that is happening inside the body. Similarly, our thinking is much deeper when it is coming out from the subconscious mind. So we give this subtle suggestion, and when it goes to the subconscious mind, we let the answer of our problem or challenge which we are passing through to be answered by our inner deep sitting intellect. We simply wait as we waited in the case of mud mixed water. If we let it happen, after some time the water will separate from the mud. Similarly, our deep sitting intellect will slowly and gradually start giving us the clues, and we start listening to the small voice from within. This inner wisdom can guide us to find our real purpose or real goals of life. As Gautam Buddha says, it will bring moderation in our thinking. We become more and more moderate. We become more balanced. We are capable of thinking in the way we want it to. So that automatically reduces the inner urge for the stress. The same tool can be used to find out the best solution to any challenge we are going through in the life. So meditation and contemplation can be considered as one of the best stress buster techniques. It is easy, it is cheap. You don't need anything. Simply sit in an isolated place, close your eyes, look for some time in your heart and simply give a suggestion whatever you want. And then there are different techniques which can be learned. And slowly it will relax our mind. It will help us in controlling and curing many psychosomatic disorders like anxiety, depression, various types of emotional labilities, etc. That is why these techniques are nowadays, as I told, are promoted in various corporate trainings, schools, colleges, police training programs, and various other groups which are stress affected. For example, a person who is having the tsunami affected families are there, post-traumatic stress disorders as they say. The meditation technique is really helpful. So people believe that even the ordinary people like Aurobindo, Vivekananda, Ramana Maharshi became saints only by the technique of introspection and followed by meditation. So to start with, I can suggest you the following techniques to clear your mind. First, I have just discussed with you introspection. Now what is introspection? Introspection is looking deep inside ourselves, sitting over the problem and just remaining undisturbed inside. You ask the question from yourself, if I keep moving the way I am doing now, where will I land up after 20 years in life? Now you can answer to this question in context of where your family will be, what will be the status of your health if you are not doing exercises, or what will be your finance situation if you are not taking care of your finance, even if you are having 100 rupees in your pocket. What will be the social relationship situation, and ultimately how will you reach, or are you going to be capable of meeting the goal of contentment and happiness? As Aristotle said in his speech, that the ultimate aim of life is the happiness. So are we going to achieve it? Even if we can't do it in next 20 years, surely we need to do something today. Second technique which I can share with you is watch the movie from the end technique. It's a very powerful technique to assess ourselves. Just for an example's sake, you imagine that you are about to finish the journey of your life and you have lived through all the good and bad moments. Now all your nears and dear ones are there around you in the last moments of the life. You are on your bed and you are about to leave the body, and whole life is unwinding in your mind's eye in that flash of time. What would you like to see you yourself accomplish in this life by that time? Will you still be ready to spare any moments of life in stress and negative feeling? Or would you like to think in a different way? Everybody wants to leave legacy when he leaves behind, when he goes from this world, or whenever he finishes his career. He wants to leave the legacy which can be carried on. Now what will be your contribution to yourself and others? Now it is the nature of the human beings to leave the legacy. Have you thought over it? Now you come back to the present moment and you thank God that you still have the time to correct your attitudes, your actions and results, and to accomplish things you would like to see yourself achieved at the end of your life. Answer to yourself, write on a spiral notebook, do I know what I want to do in life? So if we go like this, it will be very easy for us to find out how I will like to see before I leave this world, before I finish my career, before I finish my schooling, etc. etc. Next technique can be think on paper. Now when we are thinking about any situation or any problem, there will be thousands of different choices that come to our mind. They will be giving us different ideas. Now other than introspection, this is a very powerful technique. It is to think on paper. At any time when we have any challenge or difficulty, we have hundreds of answers popping in our mind. The easy way to find the solution is you define the problem and write down your problem clearly, completely, and then put down all the probable choices and solutions to solve that. Write down all the difficulties and challenges you would face to overcome that situation. Now you have both the things. You have the problem in front of you. You have all the possible solutions also in front of you. And when you sit like this, when you make a habit of solving all the problems after this introspection, write all the things on the paper by the proper head and hand coordination, suddenly you will find that the right choice pops out. So what is wisdom? Wisdom is the ability to make good decisions. It will help us to acquire wisdom. It will help us to choose correct thing. So one of the suggestions I can give is always think on paper. Never let it remain only in your mind. Then otherwise it will always go round and round and we will never be able to come to the correct solution. Next point that we have to think over is that we should take the perspective from other people in whom we trust. We are all having friends, our relatives, our parents and teachers in whom we can always confide, who we all know that they are going to always help us, they are always going to give us the correct suggestions. It is very important for us to take the perspective from them because we do not see ourselves, whatever we are doing, but our close associates, they watch us, our daily reactions, and they know exactly where we are lagging. If we simply go to them and ask them to give their viewpoint regarding us, and critically analyze us, it will be very, very much possible to find out our own faults on a positive note without being hurt by it, and we will also be in a position to improve upon them. So it is important to take the perspective from the people in whom you trust. So after that, next thing that we have to do is we have to check the major assumption in our life regarding any work that we are doing. For example, if we are choosing any career from the viewpoint that this career is very successful nowadays, but also it is equally important to search about its trends in the current scenario as well as what is its future sustainability. So we should always search what current trends tell us today, what about our career prospects after 3 to 5 years. If we do so, we will be able to make wise decision, and then accordingly our career will be more prosperous. Similarly, we should be open to correct ourselves. If we find that whatever our major assumptions are wrong, we should not keep on harping on the same point saying, no, I have to prove to the world that I am correct. Ultimately, it is I only who is going to lose. So as soon as you find that your major assumptions in the life are wrong or they are not correct, be open to admitting your mistakes and be ready to do something different. That's it for today. What we have discussed in today's scenario is that how to do the clear goal setting, that it is extremely important to have the clear thinking, and for that we need to have to practice the habit of staying in solitude for some time, have a habit of contemplation and meditation, and try to look for within ourselves where we are lagging and try to find out the faults that we are having in our character that can define our attitude towards success. That's it for today. Thank you very much.
Hello listeners, I hope all of you are really happy and satisfied with Dr. Vivek Sharma's guidelines. Follow this in your life and for sure you'll achieve your goal in your life.